Just feeding Bridget her breakfast. The boys are over here in the sand paddock out for a play. And as my mum's come out of the sand paddock, Jacob's decided that he wants to go for a little wander. And he's now out eating some grass. Hi everybody! I hope you're all doing well. I'm going to try something a little bit different on the vlogs today because I'm sure there's only so many times that you want to watch me going around feeding the donkeys and mucking them out. So today I'd actually like to take you around and start introducing you to some of our donkeys. A lot of you might already know them, some of you might be new on here and not know any of them. So I thought I would start off with our oldest resident today, and that is Bridget, who is 43 years old. Now Bridget has actually caused us quite a bit of trouble over this past week. She hasn't actually been too well, so we've all been quite worried about her. She's actually just moved in by herself for the first time ever. When she arrived with us, I think going on 7 years ago now, she arrived with Johnny. And when they arrived, donkeys usually, once they're paired up, they don't split. They're usually together for life. But it was almost like they had a divorce when they got here, and Johnny went off with other donkeys, Bridget made friends with Jessica, and that's the way that they've been ever since. But we've noticed more and more that Bridget, she is having trouble resting. When she's laying down, she's having trouble getting back up. Today she's had a wonderful day. She's been out at grass all day, nibbling on that. She's eaten all of her feeds. She has been resting and getting back up absolutely fine. But even so, her and Jessica have been split up now, and what's even more surprising is neither of them care, which is a good thing because obviously we don't want them to be uncomfortable, we don't want to stress them out, but they're just not bothered. Here she is, beautiful Bridget, on her nap time. So as I say, she is our oldest donkey here at Wonky Donkey. At 43, that will make her 129 in donkey's years. She's not very grumpy, she's actually very, very friendly. So Bridget has actually taken a bad fall this week while she's been outside. And so she's been laying down a lot, she's been having trouble getting up and down, we've been having to help her. But we're super pleased because today she seems to be a lot more like herself. She's out eating grass, eating all of the feeds, but she's also enjoying some rest as well. She's just having a sleep here at the minute. Next, I would like to introduce you to a very, very special little donkey, and that is Rosie. I'm sure most of you will already know Rosie as our baby donkey. She loves the camera, as you can probably tell. We actually rescued Rosie's mum, Bluebell, back in May 2016. This one over here is Bluebell. She's a lovely donkey. And what we didn't know when we rescued Bluebell was that she was in foal. So in the November 2016, Bluebell was looking very large, and we thought, oh my goodness, what are we all feeding this donkey? Anyway, it turned out that she was in foal with Rosie. And so Rosie was born on the 27th of January 2017, and we actually camped out 10 weeks waiting for her to be born. We wanted to make sure that we didn't miss Rosie being born, as Bluebell is, she's probably 26 now, so she was 22 when she had Rosie, and she had a horrible COPD, so a lot of trouble breathing, and we wanted to be there just to make sure that everything went smoothly, which thank goodness it did. So for the first 6 weeks that Rosie was born, she wasn't able to go out and play because she was too small, and obviously it's not the ideal time for a baby to be born in January. For baby donkeys, you want them to be born in spring so they can get some lovely lush grass straight away. But she's made up for it since. She loves playing. She's very, very cheeky as this one. I think she's most people's favourite. Yeah. Donkey that we've got is this lovely girl here, Bonnie. Oh, good girl, Bonnie. Now, Bonnie isn't a very big fan of me, and that is because when we went to go rescue her back in 2018, it actually took me 3 hours running around a field to catch her. But she's best friends with my mum. My mum, Jackie, and Bonnie are like that, which I am a bit jealous of, I'm not gonna lie. But it's such a shame because actually just before COVID, Bonnie was becoming so friendly with visitors. She were enjoying meeting people, enjoying having a cuddle, and then obviously COVID happened and she's been stuck with us. But I'm sure she'll be so excited to meet everybody when we finally do get to reopen. Yeah? One thing that's very funny about Bonnie and Alice, the next one that I'm going to introduce you to, is that she follows Bluebell around like a shadow. Bluebell obviously already lives with her daughter Rosie, but when you add these two in the mix, all three of them just follow her around all day. She's certainly bossing this group. Now this little donkey that you can just see is lovely Alice. She, believe it or not, is 11 years old. Everybody always thinks that she's our baby donkey Rosie, but she is not. Alice is a miniature donkey. So she is the smallest, I think she's the smallest donkey that we've got. And she lives in with 3 standards, which is quite unusual. But for some reason she doesn't like our other miniature herd. She likes being with these girls and she's made a family with them. So we don't want to split her up from that. She's more than happy. Hi, pretty girl. Are you okay? Hi. Now, Honey, we actually ended up with this lovely girl by default. As you can tell, she's not our usual style. Honey is our only rescue horse here. When we went to go rescue Bonnie, we actually ended up going back with Bonnie, a miniature pony, and Honey. We couldn't leave her when we found her, but poor Honey, she's actually blind in her left eye. And she had azoturia when we rescued her, which is basically when they've been running too far for too long. She was covered in scars. When we went to go get Bonnie out of this field, where I spent 3 hours running around trying to get her, Honey wasn't able to move. She couldn't step forward, and that was the azoturia tying her up. She was in a really bad way. She couldn't get to any water, any feed, and basically we just couldn't leave her. And so we ended up taking her, and she were actually that poorly that we said, well, you know, if we have her for a couple of weeks and she gets a couple of weeks out in the field grazing, then that's what she gets. And we're now 3 years later. So she's probably just coming up about 20 now. She is the definition of a moody mare. She is terrible. She doesn't like the donkeys. She doesn't like the ponies. She's a little bit of a loner, but can you blame her? We don't really know what she's been through. This is the last donkey that I would like to introduce to you all today. This is Jessica. Now, I can honestly say that Jessica is the most miserable donkey I have ever met. She is terrible. She's a bit of a loner. She doesn't really like to be with any other donkey. She's quite happy by herself. She's not that keen on being stroked, doesn't really like to be groomed. One thing that she does enjoy plenty of is her food. But Jessica is a very special donkey to me. If you don't know the reason why we got started at a donkey sanctuary here at Wonky Donkey, I will tell you it is all my fault. Now, when I was 10, I actually broke my foot at school, and the hospital misdiagnosed it as a sprained ligament. So I ended up walking on my broken foot for 10 weeks before finding out that it had been broken from the start, and that left me with hypersensitivity all over my body. You wasn't able to touch me without me screaming my head off, and the pain from my broken foot actually caused my brain to shut down. So overnight I lost the ability to read, write, I couldn't even add 1 and 1, and I was left with these dizzy spells where I would drop to the floor and I wouldn't be able to walk for 24 hours. And obviously at 10 I didn't know what was going on with me, my family didn't, and I went from this kid who loved school, never complained that I was going to school, always did my homework, to just sitting and rocking. There was nothing that my mum could do to get me out of the house. I just sat all day until one day I actually turned around and asked my mum for a donkey. So to begin with, she said no, and my aunties went out and got me one anyway. And the minute that donkey arrived, it gave me something to put all my focus on, all of my energy into. But the only problem with him was that he was an 8-month-old colt who had just been rescued. He'd suffered severe trauma, and he was scared. He was scared of people, he was scared of everything. I used to stand at the stable door and just talk to him, and from that point my love for donkeys grew. It gave me something to do every day. I had to focus on my donkeys rather than focusing on me, and I found out that you could have something called a miniature donkey. And so I was very lucky that my mum and auntie surprised me and got me lovely Jessica. And when I was poorly, she was like my best friend. I used to sing to her, read to her, just talk to her. And what was even more special about Jessica at that time was that she was in foal, and she had lovely Millie, who I will introduce you to when you meet our group of miniature donkeys. But what was so funny about Jessica is she was literally stuck to me like glue, and I was stuck to her like glue. We were together all of the time. But from the day that I got better, it was almost as if she went, right, my job's done now. Sometimes she'll like a cuddle like then, but other times she's like, no, I've done my job with you, away you go. People do say that donkeys are obviously very special, and they know when you need them, and that was certainly the case with her. So no matter how grumpy she is, she will always have a very special place in my heart, will Jess. I'm just giving Bear his last walk of the day before I go and finish off with the donkeys. I've got a couple more teas to give out, and just to give them all the night check. We've been checking Bridget multiple times every night for the past couple of days. So last night I nodded off watching TV and I got the 1 o'clock check, but obviously we just want to make sure that she's okay. Bear's not very happy with me at the minute. I'm having to keep him on the lead because yesterday he rolled in fox poo, so we had to have a bath, and I want to make sure that he doesn't roll in fox poo again. I hope you've enjoyed meeting the donkeys with us today. Please do let me know what you think of the videos, if there's anything else that you'd like to see with the donkeys. I'd love it if you'd make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because I'm really enjoying making these videos for you. It's just super to share Wonky Donkey with you again. So we hope you're all keeping well for another week, and we'll see you later. Bye!